good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rivendell. Last time we left off, we went to the Barrow Downs to try to track down two of the missing rangers, and well, we found them. Unfortunately, one of them didn't make it. It's a shame. And then we made our way here to Rivendell afterwards. And the next stop is the Etten Moors, which I'll be playing as the Loremaster again. And don't worry, I won't be playing as the Loremaster, just switching between the Ranger and the Loremaster the whole time. I will be playing as a champion as well. Matter of fact, there's gonna be like there are two missions in a row where I play as the champion later on. But actually, matter of fact, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go around and speak to the Fellowship. I'm actually going to talk to them. I'm going to be switching between characters to talk to them because each one of them has a special conversation with a different member of the Fellowship. Well, everyone but Legolas. Legolas doesn't have a special conversation with any of them. But, well.
Eredon, I am glad of this chance to speak with you. I wish to tell you how proud I am of all you have accomplished. Halbarad has taught you well, and your acts of courage honor the memory of our brothers who fell at Sarnford. Knowing I have the loyalty of such men strengthens my resolve.
You have traveled a great deal. Is there anything you can tell me of the Etenmores?
Only that it is a dangerous and unforgiving place. My own grandfather Aladur was slain by trolls in the Etenmores. It is important we learn if the enemy is active in the moors, but we do not send you there lightly. Be on your guard at all times while you venture there.
I gather you had never heard of Agendaur before these recent events.
I had never heard nor dealt with Agendaur specifically, but I know his kind. Years ago I served in disguise in the armies of Gondor, where I contended with the corsairs of Umbal, who were often led by those akin to Agendaur. These Black Númenóreans are a corrupt and wicked race. They worship Sauron as a god and seek the utter destruction of all who oppose him.
I would like to know more about those chosen to be part of your fellowship.
Who is it that interests you?
What about Gandalf? What can you tell me of him?
To know all there is to know of Gandalf would require a lifetime study. There is much about him that remains a mystery, even to me. Yet he is a relentless foe of Sauron, and without his vigilance, the ring would already be in the hands of the enemy. His wisdom and leadership will be of great value to the Fellowship.
What about this man of Gondor, the one called Boromir? If he hails from Gondor, then he is one of our long-sundered kin. But what else do you know of him?
Boromir is the son of Denethor, the steward of Gondor. I had never met him before Elrond's council, but long years ago, under another name, I served his grandfather at Felling. The men of Gondor are valiant and strong, and by all accounts Boromir is foremost among them in courage and skill at arms. I suspect we will have need of his sword before our quest is through.
Tell me about the Wood Elf, Legolas.
It is fitting that we have a representative of the Eldar, the Elves, along with us on this venture. They have been foes of Sauron since before the ancestors of the Dunedain first returned to the shores of Middle-earth. Legolas is keen of eye and ear, and he is unmatched as a bowman. His arrows seldom miss their mark.
What about these other hobbits? Is it wise to send so many of the little folk on this quest?
We are asking much of Frodo. Until recently, he had never set foot outside the confines of the Shire. It will be a comfort for him to have the familiar companionship of his friends and kin in the face of so much that will be new and frightening. I have traveled with these hobbits, and they proved far more courageous and hardy than many would suspect.
I'm glad that there's subtitles because this music in this game is really loud.
What can you tell me of the dwarf Gimli?
I have spent little time among dwarves, but Gimli is one of Durin's folk, and the dwarves of that line are trusted by Elrond, in spite of the differences that sometimes divide elves and dwarves. If Gimli is like most of his kin, he will prove loyal and stout-hearted, enduring in hardship and fierce in battle.
I feel I should accompany you on your quest. Let me go south with you.
The Ring-Bearer's companions have already been chosen. I will not gainsay the wisdom of Elrond and Gandalf in this matter. I know it is hard for you to remain behind, but until now you have always dedicated yourself to protecting the people of the North. I would ask you to continue to do so, for the servants of the enemy are found in many places, not in Mordor alone.
There are times I wonder why we do it. We have little enough thanks from those we protect.
Need I answer that? You do it because you know it is right. The North would have known little peace but for us. What roads would any dare travel? What safety would there be in these lands if we had abandoned our self-appointed duty? And you do it because of your faith in my line, and in me. You and the others believe that I am the rightful king of the lost realm of Arnor, and it is the duty of a king to protect his subjects. I know it is in your heart, Eredan. You are one of the king's men, even if the king has no throne. Never believe that I am not grateful for such devotion. I will do all I can to justify your faith.
You go now to claim your rightful place as the King of Gondor.
Above all, I go to help Frodo fulfill his quest. For unless the ring is destroyed, Gondor will soon fall, king or no king.
Good luck to you.
Alright, I'm gonna go talk to Legolas. Since this special conversation is only with Aragorn. Which is funny. Bilbo Baggins is here. Of course, our champion. Apparently, he was there during the Battle of Five Armies. So he has a special conversation with Bilbo. And Gimli's father is also here. He was also there. He was in the company of the 13. He's right there. And they have a special conversation together, so. Unfortunately, the conversation with Aragorn is the only special conversation he has. So I'll just talk to Legolas.
Pardon my curiosity, but you don't appear to be one of Elrond's people.
No, I am one of the woodland folk of Mirkwood. My name is Legolas Greenleaf, the son of Thranduil, king of the woodland realm. But I too am curious. You don't appear to be one of the men of Dale, nor one of the Beornings.
I'm Eredan, one of the Rangers of the North, the Dunedain.
Ah, one of those who follow Aragorn, son of Ereforn.
He is our chieftain, yes. But how is it that you know Aragorn in distant Mirkwood?
Aragorn is a great traveler. Although he is not a frequent guest in my father's realm, he is known and honored there all the same.
Tell me about Mirkwood.
Mirkwood is the greatest woodland in all of Middle-earth. It was called Greenwood the Great, before the shadow of Sauron fell over it. In ages past, it was a place of great beauty, but now it is filled with darkness and dread, save only in the north where my father's realm is maintained.
What brought you on such a long and perilous journey?
Unpleasant business. My father sent me to report the escape of Gollum, a creature Aragorn had entrusted to our care.
What can you tell me about this Gollum?
A pathetic creature who long held the Ring of Power. The evil of the ring has left him twisted and tormented. His only thought is to recover what was taken from him.
How did Gollum manage to escape your guard?
Not from a lack of watchfulness, but perhaps from too much kindness. We occasionally allowed Gollum to go about the wood under close guard. But on one of these ventures, the guards were attacked by orcs from Dol Guldur. In the confusion, Gollum escaped. We followed his tracks southward for many leagues, until it drew near to Dol Guldur. There, it became too dangerous to pursue him any further.
What is this place, Dol Guldur?
A stronghold of the enemy in the south of Mirkwood. It was once the dwelling of the Dark Lord, until he was driven out in the year of the Dragon's Fall. But it has once again become a place of great evil. All the darkness that besets Mirkwood has its source in Dol Guldur.
Will you be departing for your home soon?
No, I have been chosen to represent Elvenkind among the Company of the Ring. I will be accompanying the halfling, Frodo Baggins, on his journey south.
It seems strange that with so many elves in his own household to consider, Elrond chose to make you a member of the Fellowship.
I asked for the privilege, and Elrond did not refuse me. I feel he may have been relieved not to lose any of his household to this quest. He will have need of all his strength should the enemy move against Imladris.
I'm curious why you would volunteer for this.
Partially to make amends for the loss of Gollum, but more so because this will be the final chapter in our long struggle against the darkness. And I wish to have a hand in our final victory, or at least to stand in the forefront of our last act of defiance.
May fortune favor your fellowship in the days ahead, Legolas.
Alright, before I'll go ahead and switch characters, I'm gonna repair his stuff because I didn't remember repairing his stuff the last time I was here. So.
Welcome, Eridan. I suspected you would find your way here before long.
You know me?
You know my name, yet I do not believe we have met.
News travels swiftly in this household. I suspect everyone in Imladris has heard of your exploits by now. But such adventures are often hard on one's weapons and armor. Perhaps you have need of my services.
That's for... Oh, I'll be switching to her in a second, so maybe we can compare that. Well, would have fully repaired it. Where's the stuff? Anyway. Okay, that's same, so now I can switch characters. And then that's the reason why I wanted to repair stuff, but also by doing that it auto saves. I'll switch to the dwarf to have his special conversation. And since I'll be playing as the Lore Master in this mission, I'll talk to people with her last. So we need to level him up. So I haven't been able to level him up yet. Alright, let's see here. Increased damage to gun weapons, yep. Got that. I'm not gonna use a shield with him. Ignore. Allows the dwarf to ignore heavier hit versus so increases armor of nearby party. Yep. Sounds good. Upgrade. Increase walker damage bonus and increase melee damage done by never. Yep, let's go with that too. Alright, let's go have our special conversation with Bilbo Donner. Hey Bilbo, what's up?
Hello. Always happy to meet a dwarf. And one from the Lonely Mountain, if I'm not mistaken.
I am Farin of Erebor, before, Bilbo Baggins.
Have we now? Oh, I'm afraid I don't recall. You'll have to forgive me. I've grown somewhat forgetful lately.
We met upon your last visit to Erebor. I guess that was near 20 years ago now. And before that, I had the honor of sharing the field with you at the Battle of Five Armies. That was my first real taste of battle. I was hardly more than a lad at the time, but it was a glorious day.
Oh, yes, the Battle of the Five Armies. A nasty business, that. Personally, I'm glad those days are behind us. But then again, it seems as if they may not be. Everything seems to be pointing to some dark times ahead. Speaking of which, I'm told that you and your friends did a great deal to help my Frodo and the Dunedain reach Rivendell safely. You'll have to tell me all about it one of these days so I can write it down properly.
The Dunedain? Who do you mean?
Why, Aragorn, of course. From the Elvish, Dunedain, man of the West. Númenorian. Around here, Aragorn is often known simply as the Dunedain. A remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough to write it all down.
What is it you write?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. History, my past adventures, family trees. I've even begun a book of translations from the Elvish. Although lately I've been working on poetry mostly. Say, maybe you could help me with that. I'm writing a poem for Aragorn and I'm a bit stuck on a line or two.
Are you now? Well then, let me hear what you have.
Very well, very well. The verse that's giving me trouble runs like this. The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled.
The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled. To challenge the Lord of the Rings.
Hey now, that's not bad. No, maybe I can work with that. Missed your calling, my friend. Perhaps you should put down your weapons and take up a pen.
The enemy won't be stopped by poetry, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid you're right, but since these old hands are not much use with the sword, I'll just keep on with the pen. Though I'll need some help. Perhaps you could show this to the Lady Arwen. She has her people's gift with words, and this touches her deeply after all.
I'll take it to her.
Ah, thanks very much. Be sure to give her my compliments, won't you?
I'll be sure to do that. Farewell, Bilbo.
Perrin, my lad, by my beard, it's good to see you again. When you left Erebor to stand guard on the Shire, Gimli and I feared we might be seeing the last of you. Now I hear you stood with the Rangers in the battle against the Nazgul at Sarn Ford, and bested an Orc chieftain at Fornost. Good work.
I can't take all the credit. I had Andriel, an elf of Rivendell, and the ranger, Erodan, at my back.
Reminds me of the old days when dwarves, elves, and men fought together in the Battle of the Five Armies.
It does my heart good to see you, kinsman. But something dire must have happened to bring you all the way here.
All is well enough on the mountain, don't fear. The enemy's servant makes threats, but we will stand fast. Gimli is hereabouts, and he can give you the details. We came at the bidding of King Dane. With the enemy seeking news of Bilbo, Dane thought we should come to Elrond for counsel. I never imagined what I'd learn when we got here, but it may be wise to say no more.
Gandalf has told us of Frodo's burden. It's no wonder Sauron's messenger came to us looking for news of hobbits.
Alas, that we should live in such times. Well, Frodo knows what he must do. If I were younger, I'd go with him. But we must each serve where we are most needed, even as you must, with such friends as you trust.
Aragorn?
That's plain as the beard on my face. It's right here, of course. You've uncovered a deadly enemy in this Agandaur. As long as he's free to carry out Sauron's will, he'll gather more orcs, goblins, and trolls to his banner. Rivendell, the Shire, the Breland, no place will be safe from his wrath. He must be stopped.
And besides, it wouldn't hurt to keep Sauron a little distracted. If we keep him second-guessing his plans for the conquest of the North, it can only help Frodo in the long run.
That's my thoughts upon the matter, too. Be the stinging fly in the ointment, as it were. Only this fly's sting will be deadly. And it's time to be about your business. Goodbye, and good luck to you.
There's Frodo. The funny thing is Sam, Pippin, and Merry are not around here to talk to. It's just Frodo. That sucks.
Hello. You are foreign, aren't you? I was hoping I would get a chance to speak with you.
Aye, and you must be Frodo Baggins. Aragorn and Gandalf have told me all about you, and the burden you bear.
Likewise, they have told me all about you. I wanted to thank you and your friends for all you did to keep us safe on our journey to Rivendell.
Ah, you're most welcome, lad. Just happy to have been of service. Especially after we learned how important our task really was.
It seems as if I owe everyone thanks. You, Aragorn, Elrond. Without the help of each of you, I wouldn't be here now.
Will you tell me about your journey here? Sounds as if it were a rough one.
We had trouble almost from the start. The Black Riders were always just behind us, and we nearly met disaster in the Barrow Downs, at Bree, and again at Weathertop.
You came through the Barrow Downs? I will soon forget that accursed place. You were lucky to come out alive. That's no place for hobbits to go a-wandering.
You seem to know a great deal about the Barrow Downs already. I'd prefer not to speak about what we found there. It's too horrible to dwell on, even here in the safety of Rivendell.
What happened to you in Bree? We must have just missed crossing paths there.
There were spies in Bree, and our room was attacked in the night. If Strider hadn't convinced us to sleep elsewhere, our journey would have ended then and there.
What happened at this place called Weathertop?
We were attacked by 5 of the Black Riders. I was foolish, and I put on the ring. One of them wounded me before Aragorn managed to drive them away. The knife that was used against me left a shard in the wound. From what Gandalf has told me, the fragment was working its way inward. If it had reached my heart, I would have become a wraith under the power of the Black Riders. Fortunately, we were able to reach Rivendell in time for Elrond's healing arts to save me.
You've got hidden strength in you, like all your kind, it seems. I think you will do us all proud. Good luck to you, and all who go with you.
Friend of the ring bearer, just by talking to him. Alright, Gimli, what's up?
Gimli, son of Glóin, this is a happy meeting. But what brings you to Rivendell? What has passed for good or ill since I left the mountain?
Aye, and it's good to see you again, kinsman. I've heard of your exploits at Sarnford and Fornast. They sing your praises here. After you left to aid in the protection of the Shire, a foul messenger from Mordor returned yet again with more threats. King Dain thought it best to seek advice from Elrond. He chose Glóin to speak for him. When my father set out, I refused to be left behind, as happened with Thorin's quest. You were there at the Battle of the Five Armies, while I was left to cool my heels at the Hearthside. Well, not this time. I go with the hobbit Frodo and his chosen 9, even if one of them must be a wood elf.
Who's this wood elf you spoke of? It's a long way from the forests of Mirkwood.
Legolas is his name, a fair-haired princeling and son to King Thranduil. Elrond has chosen him to represent the kindred of elves in Frodo's party. His purpose in Rivendell was to report that they'd let a prisoner escape. An easier escape than my father had when they held him in their dungeons.
Come, on, Gimli. That's an old grudge, and not even your own. The elves of Mirkwood fought and died alongside us in the Battle of Five Armies, and my new friend, Andriel, has saved my hide more than once.
Aye, true enough. For Frodo's sake, I must bear the company of Legolas and make the best of it. Perhaps he won't be entirely insufferable. And besides, we've enough to worry about as it is, what with this Agandaur skulking about in the north.
You have the luck of it to bear the honor of the dwarves on that quest. When do you leave for the south?
We'll not be leaving until Elrond's scouts return. They've gone off in all directions in search of the Nazgûl, in case any survive the flooding of the river. But they have eyes out for other dangers as well.
I volunteered for such a mission. My friends and I are to search the Edinburghs for signs of what this Agandaur may be planning.
Good, good. I don't like the sound of him. He reminds me too much of the Black Rider they sent to our doorstep, demanding word of Bilbo. Well, don't delay, kinsman. The sooner the scouts return, the sooner my party can set out. The road to Mordor is long and grim, but I'll fulfill my oath, though all the orcs of Middle-earth stand in my way. Still, it would be better to have only the south to worry over, and not the north as well.
We killed an orc chieftain and drove Agandaur from his stronghold. What worries you about the north?
Before we left, we heard that Mordor was stirring up the Easterlings. But should they be foolish enough to move against King Brand of Dale, they'll find King Dain of Erebor standing fast at his side. But every step of the way here, we heard rumor of new gatherings of orcs and goblins and worse things. And though the fearful count every enemy twice, there may be some truth to it. You found such enemies at Fornast. When Sauron strikes, there will be more than one land that feels his wrath. I fear for the Shire and Rivendell, but my heart would rest more easily if I knew you kept watch over them. If Thorin of the Lonely Mountain defends the north, then no enemy can prevail.
You don't ask much, but my friends and I will do what we can. If you can bear the honor of the dwarves on your quest, I can do no less here. You have my word on it.
Now this lady right here is the shopkeeper.
Welcome, dwarf of the Lonely Mountain. Welcome to Imladris. Are you in need of anything to help you in your travels? I have many things in my keeping that might serve you well.
My thanks for the welcome, lady. Might I ask your name?
Oh, indeed. I am Alare, one of Master Elrond's stewards. I help to manage the needs of his household, including arms and armor. I suspect you might have need of such things.
I'm surprised to find elves who are so hospitable to a dwarf. Pleased, mind you, but surprised nonetheless.
In other places there may be distrust between elf and dwarf, but all who bear no ill will toward the elves are welcome here. You have already done a great deal to aid our common cause, so I am happy to call you an ally and a friend.
Alright, it just saved again. Yeah, it saves every time you meet a shopkeeper. I did not notice like that. Which I think is a good thing that does that. And we'll speak to the last of the people around here, and we can head off to the Uttermost. been putting points into this one. So that one I unlock. This one right here is the staff steel, which allows you to carry not only a staff but also a one-handed weapon with the staff. Yeah, it's better than what she's wearing. So. Alright, let's start with going up here to talk to Lord Elrond and Gandalf.
Andriel, I'm glad you are here. I hoped I would have the opportunity to speak with you privately before you left for the Moors. I wish to tell you how proud I am of what you accomplished at Fornost. You have brought great honor to our household. Indeed, all of Imladris is singing your praises. But I do not believe you have come merely to hear my thanks. Do you have questions for me?
Yes, I got quite a few questions.
I discovered this scroll at Fornost. It is tainted with evil, yet I thought it best you should see it.
Wise decision. This is writ in the black speech of Mordor, a language I will not utter here. It is intended to instruct the reader in the use of dark sorceries.
What can you tell me of the Black Speech?
The language devised by Sauron when he desired a single tongue to be spoken by all who serve him. He had small luck introducing it to the scattered tribes of orcs and trolls, but it is still used by his highest-ranking servants.
We encountered orcs at Fornost who used spells against us.
Then it seems this has already been put to use. That is grim news. The Dark Lord is a master of necromancy and other foul sorceries. He has taught these abominations to men in the past, but never, to my knowledge, to orcs.
Dare I ask you to explain more about the dark art of necromancy?
Necromancy is the darkest form of sorcery. It deals with raising the dead.
Sauron has such powers at his command.
He does indeed. It was for this reason he was known as the Necromancer. He still dwelt in the fortress of Dol Guldur, Mirkwood. At that time we did not know this was Sauron returned. We knew there was a great evil there. Have you not experienced this power firsthand in your journey through the Borrow Downs? It was Sauron's chief servant, the Witch King, who summoned the Borrow Wights to infest those tombs.
But why would the dead men of the Borrow Downs serve the enemy? Many of them were our allies in ages past.
These shades are not truly the dead returned to life. Not even Sauron has that power. It is accomplished through the summoning of malignant spirits to inhabit the remains of the dead. It is a mockery of life, and the foulest form of desecration.
Then it is good we captured this from the enemy before it could cause further harm. What will become of it?
I will destroy this scroll at the very least. But wait, here I discover more. Listen to what is written herein. Scribed by the hand of Agandaur, disciple of the great Lord Sauron, for the empowerment of his servant Wulfrun, those others of his faithful who prove worthy. I will speak no more of these blasphemies, but it does say that this scroll is one of 7 such works.
Who is this Wulfrun the scroll speaks of?
I know not, but whoever he may be, he is certain to be deep in the sway of the Dark Lord. Very likely a powerful sorcerer in his own right. We must be watchful for any sign of his presence in the days ahead.
7 at one time, perhaps, but Agandaur may well have created many more such scrolls since this writing.
Perhaps, but creating something of this nature is not a matter of simple scribing. Considerable preparation and effort is involved. We have reason to hope there are no more than 7.
So 6 more remain. Perhaps we might capture them as well.
That would be a great service to our cause. Should you recover them all, bring them to me. I will ensure they are destroyed.
Would it not be better to destroy any I find immediately?
You will find that works of this sort are not so easily destroyed. There are strong wards placed upon them that protect them from mundane harm. And I have the necessary skill to remove these wards. Should you gather the remaining scrolls, bring them to me, and I will see them destroyed.
I will be certain to do so.
In the meantime, please accept this in appreciation for bringing this matter to my attention. Perhaps it will be of service to you in your travels.
Thank you, Master Elrond. Until I return home once more, farewell.
Now, as like I said before, I forgot to pick up that tablet that was in Fornas. You give it to, after you talk about the scroll, you give him a tablet. And apparently, it's a journal.
Ah, Andrea. It is good of you to seek me out. Though I did not say so before, I am most impressed by your skills as a lordmaster, and by the courage you and your companions have shown.
Agendar struck me as being older than he appeared. Have you ever encountered him?
Though I know nothing of Agendar himself, I have seen his kind at other times in distant lands. He is likely a black Numenorian, and a master of dark sorceries.
It was long ago, even before my birth, when those distant kin of the Dunedain fell into me. If he comes of that bloodline, he is even more dangerous than I imagined.
Who can say what promises Sauron has made to him? Perhaps even a ring of his own. At the very least, Agendar expects to rule all of the North. He would be a cruel tyrant. The elves he will seek to utterly destroy. Hobbits, men, dwarves, any that survive, will be enslaved. And he will raise an iron kingdom in the North, in mockery of the ancient glory of Arnor. This is his dark dream. It must never come to pass.
When we first arrived, you said you recently passed through the Esmons. Is there more you can tell me?
It is a rough and empty land, home to many trolls. I passed through with great haste, for I needed to reach Rivendell as quickly as I could.
And yet you saw no sign of trolls.
I saw neither trolls nor fresh signs of them. That disturbs me more than encountering one. I doubt they've all packed up and left. Mindless brute creatures they may be, yet they can be used and driven to even greater wickedness by a strong enough hand. Agendar could well be forming them into an army.
You believe he is mustering the trolls for an attack?
That is my fear. I would gladly be proven wrong, but my heart misgives me that somewhere in the Eternos, you will find them gathering and being prepared for war. We must know. Such a force could be sent against Rivendell, perhaps in hopes of capturing the ring.
The Dunedain kingdom of Arnor fell long ago. There is nothing left in much of the north save ruins. Why would Sauron build a force here?
Sauron seeks dominion over all of Middle-earth. His desire is to order all things as he sees fit. Even were these lands empty from here to the sea, still he would seek to control them. There is power in Rivendell that could stand against him when all others fall. For a time. And this is something Sauron cannot allow.
You may have heard that Bellamont aided us at Fornost. Surely we could call upon the Eagles to aid in the matter of the ring.
I don't fault you for thinking along those lines. Why not beg a ride from an eagle, fly far out to the west, and drop the ring into the deepest part of the sea? Such ideas were debated at Elrond's council. But there are many things in the deep waters, and seas and lands may change. We cannot think of our time alone. We must destroy this thing forever.
Frodo wakes a little. Mount him on an eagle and send them straight away to Mount Doom.
Indeed. So simple as that. You think so mighty a creature as one of the great eagles could simply waft into Mordor and escape the eye that never sleeps? No, not all the eagles of the Misty Mountains could stand against Sauron and the full power of his ringwraiths. It would be folly. Nor, for that matter, do the great eagles take orders from us.
Your pardon, Mithrandir. Of course the wise would have spoken of such things. I merely hoped there would be a better way than sending Frodo to the fire.
You have a good heart, and I wish it could be so. We debated many such notions. I had even given thought to dragons. There was a time when dragon fire could destroy a ring of power. But even if the mightiest of the dragons of old, Calagon the Black, were alive today, his fire would not be enough to consume the One Ring, Sauron's ring. No, there is no other way. Frodo must go to Mount Doom. And you have a foe of your own you must contend with, Agendaur. And there is no telling what allies and powers he is gathering.
Of all those now threatened by the enemy, the Shire folk are the least able to defend themselves. Perhaps I am needed there.
I believe Elrond has made his wishes clear, Andriel. He knows you are needed urgently elsewhere. With the flight of the ring in this direction, the enemy is looking this way and has forgotten the Shire for now. For now. But eventually his eye will turn once again toward the Shire, as humble as it is. Hobbits as miserable slaves would please him far more than hobbits happy and free. And there is such a thing as malice and revenge. Sauron will leave the final devastation of the Shire to his servant Agendaur. And that is yet another reason why you must fight him. Put an end to his designs. In opposing Agendaur, you are defending the Shire.
I have much to do. Goodbye, Mithrandir.
Andriel, I thought I might see you ere long. Imladris is filled with tales of your exploits. I believe Lindir has even begun a song about them. But while battles can build a heroic reputation, they also break down equipment. You have need of my services.
What task is before you now, Angmir?
My fellow smiths and I are preparing for a great work. Soon we will be called upon to reforge the legendary sword Narsil. In the meantime, I've been sharpening my skills by practicing the art of imbuing gemstones.
By imbuing, you mean the process of binding powers and virtues to an object?
Yes, clearly you have a good understanding of this art. As you know, gemstones are very strong vessels for this process. Sadly, appropriate gemstones have become difficult to find. The growing trouble throughout the land keeps travelers away, and our own people are staying closer to home.
Perhaps I can help you with that. I will be traveling soon.
I would be pleased to have your help. I will provide you with a list of the types of gemstones that are of the greatest value to me. If you collect the stones, I am certain I could create something that you will find useful. But to be of use, the gemstones must be of the highest quality. Fortunately, we have as a guest a dwarf of the Lonely Mountain. Glowin is his name. He is skilled in the appraisal of gems of all sorts. Once you have gathered the stones, allow him to examine them. He'll know if they are suitable.
I have discovered some interesting relics of the Dunedain, Angmir. Perhaps you could help me with them.
Ah, these are work of Westernese, the lost land of Numenor. The men who forged these items were skilled indeed. You have the makings of a unique weapon here. Although these components were never part of a sealed work, I believe you have assembled everything I would need to make it so. The finished weapon would undoubtedly carry some elven qualities.
What do you mean by that?
Only that with a work such as this, the finished product is liable to reflect the nature of the smith who assembles it. If, for example, a dwarven smith were to complete this weapon, it might possess quite different qualities from the weapon I would create.
It seems fitting that an elven smith should do this task for me.
Very good. I will get started at once. There, it is finished. May this serve you
And he did that without moving his hands. Alright, let's see what we got here. Health +2, times 2. That's good. Power cost of skills is reduced by 80%. That's good. Enemies hit with normal range shots are stunned. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. Enemies who strike the player are injured, equal to 30% of player's damage. Ooh, I'm taking that one. And then we got a sword. First level 11. And a staff. Yeah, I would take the sword so that way when it comes time for me to get the staff of steel, I got out with a sword to go with it. We're gonna go over here to the brothers, and then we're gonna talk to Lady Adeline.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Elmatris. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? The valor you showed there brings honor to all our folk. I'm only sorry you will have so little time here at home before setting out once more.
Yeah, what brought you to Fornost?
How was it you happened to be at Fornost?
You know how bitter is our hatred for the orcs since our mother's ordeal. We often ride far afield hunting them. We came upon signs of a large band of goblins making their way from the orc hold of Mount Gram and followed their trail to Fornost, where we lost no time in attacking them.
To remain at ease for a time, yet I have promised to search the Eternaut for signs of the enemy. What of you? I know you both too well to believe you will sit idle for long.
No, indeed. We are to set off at once on a similar mission to your own. Only we will travel south seeking for signs of the Nazgûl or other threats. Aragorn will accompany us at least part of the way.
Aragorn goes with you? I understood he was to be part of the fellowship that accompanies the Ringbearer.
And so he is. But Frodo needs time to recover from his ordeal. And in the meantime, we will scout the road that lies before him for possible threats. Aragorn's skill as a tracker is unmatched. We'll have need of his talents in our search.
Aragorn is a frequent companion in your forays against the enemy, is he not?
Yes, we often venture forth in company with the Dunedain, and none more frequently than Aragorn. He was raised here in our household, after all.
How fares your sister, the Lady Arwen?
She is well, although weighed down with care. It is hard for her to be so soon parted from Aragorn, her beloved. But such is their fate.
Farewell, friends. May good fortune accompany you.
Yeah, let's go speak to Lady Arwen, and I believe that's everybody. So yeah.
Andrei, Mycovanen, it is good to see you safely returned. I am told you passed through many dangers to bring us warning of a new threat facing these lands. Estelle speaks highly of you, and my brothers praise the courage you showed in Fornost. I thank you for the part you played in their safe return as well.
subject is a matter very close to your heart.
Then I would guess it is another poem in honor of Estelle. Leave it with me, Andrea. I will give it some thought and answer him myself.
Elbow will be pleased, I am sure. I would that I had more time for such arts, but that world is in need of my skills, and I fear I must leave for the Eternables as soon as may be.
Then I will not keep you, but perhaps we may be of service to one another. Your journey may solve a problem that has perplexed me. I am helping my father create a quantity of miracle, and we may fall short of certain rare ingredients which can be found in the Eternables.
In all my years at Imladris, only once have I tasted the fragrant cordial miracle. I remember how it renewed my heart and gave me fresh strength.
Yes, it is difficult to create and therefore precious. If I gave you a list of the ingredients, perhaps you could bring them back from the Eternables. I will set aside a flask for your own use when we have brewed it.
If I may be so bold, why is it that you prefer to use Estelle instead of Errol? His true name has long been known to you.
It is true that when first we met, he gave me his Dunedain name and lineage. Yet for the first 20 years of his life, he was known as Estelle, for he is the help of his people. And Estelle, he remains to me. In this war, Aragorn's fate is entwined with mine, to share his life and accept the doom of men. If our hope fails, the shadow will fall across Middle-earth and leave only ruin. Always he is in my thoughts. Even from afar, I watch over him and keep hope alive in my heart.
I have not heard how you met. You would speak of it.
I had been living with my mother's kin in Lothlorien for many years, and had only recently returned to Imladris to visit my father. Estelle saw me at twilight as I walked in a grove of birch. Even then, in his youth, he struck me as more than other mortal men. 29 years passed, and I dwelled once again in Lothlorien when he came there, returning from perils on the very borders of Mordor. He had undergone many trials and hardships, yet he seemed as fair as an elf lord when I beheld him walking beneath the golden boughs of the mallow trees. We pledged our troth there, upon the hill of Ceren Amroth, where I said to him, "Dark is the shadow, and yet my heart rejoices. For you, Estelle, shall be among the great whose valor will destroy it."
Then it is as I heard. You have made the choice of the half-elven, choosing to become mortal because of your love for Aragorn.
That is the gift given to my father's line, to remain of elvenkind and live forever in the undying lands beyond the great sea, or to accept a mortal life, both the sweet and the bitter.
You are guided by your heart, so you have made the correct choice. However painfully you may prove yourself, and all the others who love you.
In many ways, it does seem a choice between two separate sorrows. Even should Imladris endure this war, Elrond will not depart. When he leaves, we'll be parted beyond the end of the world. It is the price I must pay to bring love and hope to Estelle and the race of men.
I believe you said something about a miracle.
I am helping my father create a quantity of miracle, and we may fall short of certain rare ingredients which can be found in the Eternables.
In all my years at Imladris,
Yes, it is difficult to create and therefore
you are generous, lady. I will seek them out for you and return them once my mission is completed.
Alright, I believe that's everybody around here to talk to. And why is the music in this game so loud? Jeez, why does it have to be so loud? I mean, I like the music in this game, but does it have to be so loud? Jeez. Anyway, let's enough with the tea chat. Let's head off to the next mission, shall we?